Welcome to another edition of A Walk in Time. Today we're sitting with one of Benton's most noted citizens, Mr. Jim Wiseman. Mr. Wiseman, thank you for allowing us to come out and talk with you.
You're quite welcome.
We won't start with the basics, asking you when you were born and where you were born.
I was born in 1929, August the 28th in CocaCola, Kentucky.
Okay.
And I lived there and grew up there, went to school there, and the dam run us out.
Run you out. Who was your mother and daddy?
My daddy was Hart Wiseman, who was county court clerk there for a few years. And my mother was Helen Hall Wiseman, and she was from Masco, which is about 8 or 10 miles away. And in about 39 or 40, they got divorced. And my daddy married Malvina Baird in 1946. Now, the funny part of that is, in the times I went to school, it was one building, everybody in the same building, and there were 2 grades in each room. You started the 1st and 2nd grade, moved to another room, 3rd and 4th grade, then the 5th and 6th grade, and then 7th and 8th, then you went upstairs to high school. Well, I don't remember who my teacher was in the 1st and 2nd grade, but in the 3rd and 4th grade, Malvina Baird, she was then, was my teacher. Well, she taught me the 3rd and 4th grade.
Yeah.
When we moved to the 5th and 6th grade room, for some reason, she moved to the 5th and 6th grade.
Yeah.
So I had her there.
All through school.
And then when they moved to the 7th and 8th grade room, she was there too. And then the 10th and 11th and 12th, she was upstairs, so I had her in English upstairs.
Yeah.
So I had the same lady for 10 to 12 years.
Yeah.
That don't happen much.
No.
Not nowadays anyway.
What year did you graduate from school?
I graduated in 1947.
Okay. Had you moved out of Catawba by then?
No, it was still Catawba High School, in fact. It burned down about early 50s, and they consolidated. They consolidated in 49, I think, 48 or 49.
Okay.
And then the school burned, Edible, and then they built the new Central School over there. But I was in college then, so I never went back after that.
Okay. Where did you go to college at?
Went 2 years to Murray and 3 years University of Tennessee in Memphis.
Okay. What was Murray State like back in, this would have been the 40s, correct?
Yes. There was one boys' dormitory, Ordway Hall. There was a girls' dormitory over the old cafeteria. And there was a library there. There was an old science building sitting there, and an auditorium where they had all the history and stuff. That's the only thing they had.
Okay.
The girls stayed above the cafeteria, and it was somewhere between 1,100 students, around 1,100 students there.
Okay. Were there any professors that you remember that left an impression on you that?
Oh yeah, I had a very strong impression of a man named Cannon. His name was Cannon. He taught science and physics.
Okay.
Very strong personality, great teacher. If you didn't learn it was your own fault.
Yeah.
And he would be one of my favorite teachers.
Okay. After 2 years there, you went to?
Went to Memphis to all of University of Tennessee's technical schools are in Memphis. Doctor, nurse, pharmacist, dentist, all those schools are in Memphis, still there. And so I went down there and went 27 straight months with no time off. That means you got 4-year course in 3 calendar years.
Okay. How did you want to become a pharmacist?
Well, my dad, back in the old days, 1915, 18, somewhere along there, he worked in a drugstore. Well, then you didn't have to have anything. You just write the name down, you're a pharmacist. And so I got involved that way some, and then I just thought that'd be something be nice
Yeah.
and good.
When you graduated, when did you graduate in Memphis? What year was that?
December the 21st, 1951.
Okay. Did you come directly back to
No,
Kentucky
no,
then?
I had time in the Army to serve.
Okay. Tell us about that.
I went, I got a deferment because I was in school the last year. And so as soon as I got out, I was joined up. And they sent me to Indiantown Gap in Pennsylvania for basic training. 18 weeks of up and down hills. And I guess it was probably that mountain, as I call it, behind the camp was probably 600-800 feet high or so, but it was straight up. And that's where you had to march.
Yeah.
You marched up the hill one side, down the other, and all back around, do it again. But it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad at all. Then they sent me to Fitzsimmons Army Hospital in Denver, and I stayed there about 3 months.
Okay.
Then moved out, and they sent me to the Philippine Islands.
Okay.
Beautiful place. Beautiful, beautiful.
What do you remember about the Philippine Islands?
Mostly I remember this was in Manila, Manila Bay. Manila's on one side of the water, a bay, and Cavite is on the one side here. And all in between that is the Manila Bay. That's where Corregidor was and where Benton was.
Okay.
And there were ships. Even then, there was probably 30 ships or more just laying in the bay, sunk, not all the way down, just like. And that was the first thing I remember.
Okay. Set the time. What period was that?
That was in after the Second World War.
After Second World
Yeah.
War, before Korea.
Before Korea.
Okay. Okay.
It was it'd be it would have been 50, 49,
Okay.
50.
Okay. So you
51.
got out of the service. Did you?
No, it wouldn't. I'm sorry. I went in 51. It'd been 52 or 53.
Okay. So you got out just about when the Korean War was starting, or had it already began? Or?
No, I got out before it started.
Okay.
I got out in April of 54.
Okay.
And I don't think it quite started then.
Okay. So after your military service, did you come back home then?
Went to Paducah, big city of Paducah. And by the way, it used to take us, hour and more longer to go from Catawba to Paducah. We had to cross 2 rivers. We had to cross the Ohio River and the Cumming River. And of course, the Cumming River was on a ferry. And if you come into Kentucky Dam, where it is now, it was a ferry also.
Yeah.
There wasn't a bridge there then. When I came to Paducah,
Okay.
went to work for Walgreens in
Okay.
Paducah, and worked there for about 3-4 months or so. And a man by the name of Raymond Vick from Benton here, he was a friend of Ernie's. She knew him. He had a corner drugstore on a corner where Peel and Holland is now. And it was a sundry store. That's all it was. And he's wanting to go into the drug business. Wasn't but one store in town, Nelson's then. And so he wanted to go in. So he asked Ernie if she thought I might be interested in coming to Benton. Well, we thought about it, talked about it, and she didn't pressure me at all. She was going to go wherever I went. But we decided that might be a good idea.
Okay.
So we came to Benton, and January of 55,
Okay.
part of end of 54 was here, but we didn't get here till 55.
Okay. Tell us what the corner drugstore was like then.
Well, it was, you see now, if you look at Peel and Holland, that was 2 stores then. half of that on the corner was the corner drugstore, and then the other half of it was Peel and Holland. And it was just a long building, had a old soda fountain, had stools,
Yeah.
had the counter and all, and had booths in the back, and
Okay.
just an old-time drugstore.
You got some items here. Can you tell us about these items?
Yes, you don't see them anymore because I don't ever see them
Yeah.
anymore. But that is the balance there.
Okay.
And in times gone by, you had powders, and you take powder. Hey, I didn't have any, but some type of paper, little squares so big, and you put on there, and those there are weights that
Okay.
weigh down to a feather. But then if you wanted 6 grams of a powder, you'd put those on there, and you'd put the weight on one side and then put the powder on till you got where it balanced. Then you'd take it off, and then you'd wrap the powder, if it was a powder to be taken, or you'd pour it into a mortar and pestle like that, and if you're making up a compound, you may have to put 5 or 6 ingredients in it and mix it up.
Okay.
I haven't done that in 20 years, I don't think.
Long time ago.
Yeah.
Long time ago. What about some of these bottles here?
Well, those bottles is all, this is a patent medicine in the front there. It's just an old patent medicine bottle like they were.
Okay.
Other two are medicine. That's the empty one there. It just had different medicines in it, liquids you want to mix together.
And you found those at the corner drugstore in the basement there?
Yep.
Okay.
We used those,
Yeah.
but
Okay. You come to Benton in the 1950s. Kind of give us an idea of what businesses were on the court square at that
Okay.
time. And,
while I'm thinking about it before I get off,
okay.
I forget if I don't
Okay.
say it. In 1937, there was a flood. It didn't impact Benton as much as it did Catawba, which was on the Cumberland River. But my dad was involved in the rescue of flood victims and all. They just had motorboats and put around. But he was telling me that the water got starting up the hill at the Baptist Church in Benton. And he said they used the school for a place to bring the people to.
Yeah. Right here in Benton.
Right here in Benton.
Okay. Okay. Can you tell us some of the businesses that were in
Oh
Benton?
yeah, I was just thinking today, there's not, as far as I know, 2 businesses, well 3, that's still there that was there.
Yeah.
Peel and Holland was that small building, corner drugstore was on the corner, then the Peel and Holland building was next door to it. Then we had a 10-cent store on the other side of it, Morgan's 10-cent store, and half of the Morgan 10-cent store was in the dry goods business.
Yeah.
So they had both there. Then where Marty Johnson's office is as a lawyer, it was the Benton Bank,
Okay.
Bank of Benton.
Okay.
That's their first building. Then there was Nelson's drugstore, which is just went out, but it was
Yeah.
there. And there was a clothing store next to that. Jack Jennings had a clothing store there. And then on the end down there where the State Farm Bureau, yeah, State Farm, that was the Bank of Marshall County.
Okay.
So it had had 2 banks in town, both of them within,
Walking
100
distance.
feet of each other,
Yeah.
150.
What was
And-
on the other side of the court square?
Okay, on the other side of the court, Philbeck and Ken was there. Then next to it was a movie house. Shelby McCallum, who was a state representative, had a movie house there. Then the other side of that was the barber shop, and then on the corner there was the post office.
Okay. I've heard a lot of stories about Chet Gordon's barber shop.
Oh,
That
yeah.
was the place to
Yeah,
be.
that was it.
You got any stories about that to share with us?
Not much that I can think of.
Oh.
But there where the U.S. Bank is now, where the old Bank of Marshall, the second Bank of Marshall County was, there was a hotel there.
Okay. I didn't
And
know that.
they had rooms, but they also had food. A lot of people eat noon meals there.
Okay.
Yeah. Then the Methodist church was on the other on the corner across the street. Then right next to it was the city hall, but it was not like it is now, about half the size. And on that corner there was a Standard Oil company.
Okay.
Darnell, I think, was the
Joe Darnell, wasn't it?
Okay. Was the distributor for Standard Oil, I think.
Okay.
And down where the library, not the library, where the police department is now, in there was Leneve's Auto Parts.
Okay.
And then next to it was a plumbing supply house.
Okay.
I can't, from Simpson, Johnson.
Okay.
He's from Simpsonia.
Okay.
Did real good business, real
Yeah.
good, real good.
All right, let's talk about when you met your wife and how y'all met and how y'all got married. And
I met my wife in '54, probably June, May, April, April or May probably. No, it wasn't July. I met her. She just got out of school, and she was working at a dam during the summer to get money to go to school.
Okay.
Murray.
okay.
And my mother at that time was head of the dining room. So when I got back from overseas, well, I come by there fairly regular.
Yeah.
Well, I saw her there, and she took my eye.
How long was your courtship? How long did y'all date before you got married?
About 6 months.
About 6 months.
But she asked me before
Oh, okay.
then.
Okay. And how long y'all been married now?
We got married in '54.
Okay,
So it's
62?
62 years.
Okay. How many children did y'all have?
We got 3. That's the youngest one there.
Okay.
We got 2 girls, Debbie Anderson, who's married to Terry. And we got Kim, who's married to Dennis Smith.
Okay.
And then with Jeff, who is married to, where is Sharon? She's inside. Yeah.
Okay. And Jeff is in the business with
Yeah,
you too, and your grandson is as well. So 3 generations.
3 generations
Okay.
there. The 3 wise men.
Yeah, the 3 wise men.
I thought about putting that on a sign,
There you
but
go.
I never did. But yeah, yes, that's right.
Okay. You've also been very involved in civic affairs. You were on the city
Yeah.
council for many years, and you served
Yeah.
how many terms as mayor?
2,
2 terms.
not 2 full ones.
Okay.
2.
Okay.
I think about 6 years. I think.
Okay.
Guy Mathis was the first mayor I served under.
Okay.
Now I served with Guy on the city council. Then he run for mayor and won. And I can't remember how many. That was in 56 or 57, somewhere along there. And I was on the council then from there until 96.
Okay.
And then I was mayor from 96 to 2005, I believe. No,
Okay.
202, I think.
Okay. So you took over when Mr. Corey Crayson passed away. Okay.
Yeah.
So
I served with Coy for, well, his whole term.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Coy was a great man, too.
Yeah.
He was-
Done a lot for Benton.
He sure did.
I guess you saw a lot of improvements to Benton from the 50s all the way on to
There's a lot of difference
the.
anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know where, well, I don't, most people probably know it, but the courthouse was about half the size it was.
Yeah.
And they had to cut this, and there was all that width of just room.
Yeah.
So they cut all that out and then built the second part of the courthouse there.
Okay.
And let's see, that must have been in 50, in the late 50s, I
Okay.
think. I'm not sure about that. One of the funny stories about that, not that especially, but John Rayburn was, he's both city judge and county judge at different times. And now this story is not as I can say it's true, it's just what they were told around. That, well, John did tell that back in that period of time, we was always trying to get businesses in now. Well, he said he got a phone call from somebody in South America wanting to come up here and build a 100, 200 bed, not bed, 200 room place on the lake for lodges and things. But the only problem is it had to be wet. They couldn't do it without liquor. Well, John said, I told him, said, I don't think you can do it, but said, I'd be for it if we get it up here. And supposedly, they paid his way to South America for about a week and wined him and dined him and sent him back. But they'll never get wet.
Oh, Judge Rayburn.
Yeah. But John, John Rayburn.
You got a Coca-Cola cooler over here. Can you tell us about that?
Oh, that's just one we had in the old corner drugstore. It's just you put ice in the top of it, and you buy gallons of syrup. And the syrup you pour in the top and the ice around it gets it cool. Then there's a carbonator or a motor that has gases of some type in it, and it carbonates the water. And you pull it, put ice in a drink and pull it. Now, back in the days of the first Tater Day, the Tater Day was completely around the square. It didn't go out of the square. It was all, everything was there in one line, one day.
Yeah.
And I've seen snow at Tater Day, I've seen rain at Tater Day, and I've seen sunshine at Tater Day. So it goes from one to the other.
Yeah.
And old corner drugstore, now you can imagine, not maybe as many as we have now, but you can imagine 4,000, 5,000, 6,000 people around the square. Well, they're everywhere. Well, on a Tater Day, instead of being a good day, it was the worst business day a person could have.
Really, yeah.
You got stole blind.
Yeah.
There'd be maybe 100 people in your business
Yeah.
and picking up anything they could.
Yeah, you couldn't
And
keep your eye on all of them,
couldn't
could you?
catch it.
Yeah. Yeah.
We finally got so where we'd cover everything up with a sheet and wrap it,
Yeah.
and where they'd be hard to get to at least.
Yeah. Yeah.
But there were, and they used to, it used to be a pretty common thing for the kids to have these squirt guns, you know, squirt water. Well, if they couldn't get water, they'd want to use your bathroom and go in and pull it in the bathroom. So it got so where you had to lock your bathroom.
Yeah.
You couldn't have anybody in there either.
Yeah.
So it was just a one-day mess, is all it was.
Yeah. All right. Well, this has been real great. Do you have anything to add?
No, except that I think Benton's a great town.
Yeah.
It's got a good future. It's got a lot of good people here.
Yeah.
But like anywhere else, there's good and bad everywhere.
Yeah.
But I think anybody that was interested in being in living in a community that you want to raise your children in, this is a great time.
Yeah, I agree.
We got some of the best schools in the state of Kentucky. We got some of the best teachers in the state of Kentucky. We have 3 or 4 financial businesses that are willing to lend money to people that need to borrow money. We have most everything you'd want here.
Yes, sir.
And a lot of the things you don't want is not here.
Yes, sir.
So I just think it's a great place to be. I wouldn't go anywhere else. I was raised in a little town of about, I guess 500, 600 people. We didn't know any different. We thought everybody the same way we were.
Yeah.
No money, no nothing to do, just go to school and have a good time.
Yeah.
But this is just a fine place to be.
Well, we appreciate. Thank you for letting us sit down and talk with you, Mr. Wiseman.
You're quite welcome.
Thank
for
you so
that.
much.
Okay.
Thank you.
Good.
Miss Wiseman, we want to know how you and Mr. Wiseman met and about your first kiss. Can you tell us about that?
Well, I graduated from Benton High School in 1954. Went to work at the dam, like he said, as a waitress. And he would come in and visit his mother. So this particular night he came, somebody had run into me with a hot pot of coffee. He likes to doctor. He should have been a doctor. So he was doctoring me, and Jeff's over there laughing. And that's how. And so I looked up at him and I cried. I said, "When anybody pets me, I cry." So that was the beginning of it.
Okay.
Right there. I had a friend that worked there too, Judy Jacob, and she really is the one that introduced us. And so later, after he had doctored me for the coffee being spilled on me, why next day or two she asked me if I'd be interested in going out with him.
Yeah.
Well, I kind of thought about it, and I said, "Oh no, he might be too old for me." I like to tell that. So he asked me out.
Yeah.
And I don't think I let him kiss me the first time.
Oh, okay.
Or if I did, he said it's like kissing a brick wall.
Tell us about your childhood in Birmingham. You were born in Birmingham, correct?
Yes, I was. My mother and daddy at the time lived in Lyon County, but my grandmother had the old home place, which is still there where Big Bear is. As you go on the right, there's a big hill here, and the foundation is still there, I think. And I don't know what they call the other part. They have a picnic over there. That's where I was born, because we was at my grandmother's.
Okay.
And
You told me you went to school a few years at Birmingham,
yes,
correct?
uh-huh.
And the bus wouldn't pick you up. Tell us about that.
well, it was against the law.
Yeah.
You know, now then you couldn't get by with that. You
Yeah.
know, and so I walked to school every day with my little red coat and my little lunchbox,
Yeah.
and when they'd go by.
And it was against the law because you were too close to the
Yes,
school, correct?
yes,
Okay.
uh-huh.
Okay.
And of course, I had a twin brother. But he was born crippled and deaf, and he went to Danville to school.
Okay.
So, and then I lots and lots of times it would snow on me.
Yeah. Okay.
And when I'd get to Birmingham, the teachers would take my coat and they'd put it up against the cold, warm morning stove, I think is what you call it now. And it'd be dried out by the time I'd start home.
Okay.
But no one ever offered to pick me up. And then when in the second grade, Miss Helen Nemo, she was my second grade teacher. And she would stop and pick me up. So I really just walked that one year. But I was only 6 years old.
Yeah.
So.
When did y'all leave Birmingham?
Oh, let's see, I was about, then after Birmingham, the water was over the school and all. I still lived there at Birmingham, but then I got to be bused to Briceburg for the third grade. And then we finally moved to Draftonville, and I was 8 years old.
Okay.
Then.
Okay. Now, wasn't it one time you was elected beauty queen here in Benton?
Yes.
Tell us about that.
Well, I was in '53. I was second or third place, and then '53 is when I won, and it was fun. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And the lady that was I can't remember her name that was in charge of it then said the girl that smiles the most will be the next beauty queen. So I put on a big smile, and that's how it happened.
There you go. There you go. Well, I appreciate you letting me talk to you in this impromptu interview that you wasn't ready for.
No, I wasn't ready.
I appreciate it.
Okay, well, I enjoyed it.
Thank you.